Welcome to Tax File. I am your host, Laure Bala Hassan, and today's episode is packed with valuable insights. We kick off with the latest tax news, bringing you up to date on important developments. Then, in our Did You Know segment, we uncover interesting tax facts. We'll also hear from you in our Vox Pop segment, exploring public opinion on key tax matters. In the Knowledge Zone, we'll take a closer look at those views and break them down in details. Next, our Professional Insight segment features expert analysis to help you navigate tax complexities. And finally, on What's on the Net, we respond to questions and comments from our social media handles. Get ready for an enlightening discussion. Let's dive in. And now, the news. The facility management drivers of the Federal Inland Revenue Service have joined their counterparts the world over to celebrate the World Facility Management Day 2025. The day, which holds every second Wednesday of May, seeks to celebrate and acknowledge the contributions of facility managers in the maintenance and sustainability of buildings to ensure functionality, comfort, safety, and efficiency. To create awareness on the responsibilities of facility managers, share experiences, and identify gaps with the aim of closing them. Mariam Jude Adura has that report.
The facility management drivers of the Federal Inland Revenue Service have joined their counterparts the world over to celebrate the World Facility Management Day 2025. The theme for this year's event is Resilience in Action, Thriving in a World of Change. The executive chairman of the service, Dr. Zak Adedeji, represented by the coordinating director, Support Services Group, Mohammed Lawal Abubakar, congratulated the facility management team for the celebration and for efficiently maintaining the FIRS buildings and making workspaces comfortable.
I'm pleased to celebrate the Maiden World Facility Management Day here at the Federal Inland Revenue Service. This year's theme, Resilience in Action, Striving in a World of Change, aligns seamlessly with one of the focal areas of the service 2025 strategic roadmap, facility enhancement.
Highlight of the event was a tour of the 16-story building of the proposed FIRS headquarters, which is under construction in the central area of Abuja.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service has directed all commercial banks to immediately identify and close any tax and levy collection accounts that are not authorized. This was in a move to sanitize Nigeria's tax collection system under the service's official tax administration platform, Tax Promax. Swateku has the report.
Banks are urged to carry out internal audits and ensure that all FIRS-linked accounts in their system are duly authorized and compliant with the new directive. Non-compliance, the FIRS warns, could attract regulatory penalties and closer scrutiny from the supervisory authorities. Taxpayers are also advised to confirm the legitimacy of collection accounts before making any payments to avoid falling victim to fraud or making payments into unauthorized channels. The FIRS reiterated its commitment to leveraging technology to drive efficiency, reduce fraud, and enhance voluntary tax compliance across the country.
In a strategic move to create a more enabling environment for taxpayers and to bring tax office closer to businesses, the Federal Inland Revenue Service has opened a new emerging tax office in Gwarimpa FCT, Abuja. Sama Chido has the report.
Highlighting the potentials of the new ETO, the Coordinating Director, Emerging Taxpayers Group, Kabir Abba, appreciated the Executive Chairman of the FIRS, Dr. Zak Adedeji, for his continued effort in facility enhancement, which is one of the 3 pillars of this year's focus areas. The coordinating director, Dr. Kabir Abba, made this commendation while inaugurating the new ETO, Gwarinpa.
And that concludes the news.
Did you know that personal income tax is paid to your state of residence? Visit our website on www.firs.gov.ng for more information on personal income tax, PIT.
Let's join Mariam on the Vox Pop segment.
Hello and welcome. It's another beautiful day. My name is Mariam Julie Adura. Today on the Vox Pop segment, we sought to find out the kind of taxes that the Federal Inland Revenue Service collects. Come along with me. So, sir, we want to find out from you, what kind of taxes do you know FIRS collects?
Well, FRS collects taxes like CIT, and BAT, and then the stamp duty, and NASENI, police trust tax, then lastly withholding tax.
Okay.
Together 8 or 9.
FIRS collects different taxes, like companies' income tax. That's for limited liability companies. Then FIRS also collects taxes from the members of the armed forces, staff of the foreign affairs. So, and we also collect withholding taxes on limited liability companies. Value-added tax is collected by FIRS.
So we want to find out what kind of taxes FIRS collects.
Okay, we have EDT, which is called an education tax, and CIT, company income tax. They also charge withholding. I guess those are the two I know.
Okay.
And VAT, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
FIRS do collect taxes such as income tax, that is given by Company Income Tax Act, tertiary education tax, value-added tax, hydrocarbon tax, personal income tax for some personnel such as police, foreign service, and the armed forces. This is the personal income tax that is being collected by FIRS, while other personal income tax is collected by state. Then we also have Nigerian National Technology Development levy, that is NITDEP, is also collected by FIRS, Police Trust Fund, NASENI, and which are other capital gain tax as well.
Okay.
Yes, all these taxes are being collected by FIRS, and other taxes also are being collected by Internal Revenue Service dependent on the state where the taxes are being, the person is reside in. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
You are most welcome, ma'am.
Ashu Abe takes us on the Knowledge Zone.
Hello and welcome to Knowledge Zone, where we dive deeper into interesting conversations had on the streets. I remain your host, Ashu Abe. In this episode, we'll be talking about taxes and levies collected by FIRS. The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, collects a number of taxes such as petroleum profit tax, company income tax, value-added tax, personal income tax. But note, this is for non-residents of Nigeria, members of the armed forces, police officers, and officers of foreign service. Withholding tax, tertiary education tax, capital gains tax, and the National Information Technology Development Levy.
And now to our Professional Insight segment.
The key responsibility is to render legal advice to the service. This legal advice includes giving advice on issues that need clearance as regards to interpretations of the tax laws, and it can be rendered even to the chairman, to the board, departments, functions, and officers of the service. And it's not restricted to only that. Our colleagues in private practice, more often than not, also come and require us to give certain clearance on legal issues as relates to taxation. We have the tax laws, which says these are the things that are supposed to be done by the taxpayers, by the service. Our role is generally to ensure that there is adherence to the rule of law and compliance with the tax laws. So we ensure that the service adhere to the rule of law, and at the same time, we ensure that taxpayers to adhere to the rule of law. So if a taxpayer fails to comply with the tax laws by not rendering return or paying the tax 6 as at when due, then we'll take it up from there. We first of all write letters to the taxpayers. Then if the taxpayer fails to pay, we'll give an ultimatum requiring the taxpayer to pay the tax due within certain time, most times within 30 days. And thereafter, if the taxpayer fails to pay, we will now take legal action. This can be, we can take them to the tribunal or the court of law. So sometimes it might be civil, it might be criminal in nature, depending on the infraction by the taxpayer. And this will ensure that the taxpayer pays the taxes due and then increase compliance with the tax laws, as well as increase in revenue generation for the nation. From time to time, when there are new issues, we'll flag it. We'll now bring out, we bring out the novel issues in the tax law, sometimes by way of circulars, by way of information. Sometimes we have jingles on the FRS intranet. Then we'll bring out the issues that we want to communicate to the public or to our colleagues. Sometimes when we have our judgments, we bring out the novel issue from the judgments, and then this is the principles of law. And this is the new way we should be doing things in the service. Sometimes it may even be in form of agreements. You know, more often than not, we have agreements with our contractors. We will ensure that all these agreements are in line with the best practices to ensure that FRS is not just changed, and then we are in a position that we will be able to meet the obligations that we are entering into. Everything that we do is in accordance with the provisions of the tax laws. So that's the basic things. We cannot do anything outside the tax laws. We cannot manufacture anything. We cannot import in. And the tax laws are giving literal interpretations. So that is one basic thing. Now, the next thing is we have our own checklists, which we give to tax offices. When you are going to refer a case to the legal department, especially, you have to comply with these checklists. Ignorance of law is not an excuse, but nonetheless, we still ensure that we communicate with our professional colleagues. Sometimes we engage with the MBA, the FIDA, Women in Taxation, so that we let them know what are the provisions of the tax law, because tax laws are quite technical. So we have what we call case management. This case management is a software whereby we are using it to interact with my colleagues in the departments. We use it to assign tasks and do reporting. So if I assign a task to you, it will come to you. When you finish, you can send it back to me. When I send it to you, it will show the time. At the time of the day, that date that the task is assigned to you. My office is not just in Abuja. We have offices in Lagos, Ibadan, all over Nigeria. Because anytime when there is a legal dispute, they have to refer it to us. When our lawyers go to court, they will log in that I was in court today, this is what happened, they give a report and it will show the time, and this is the next adjourned date. We are open to improve on that so that we can be using AI and some other stuff to enhance our work. Any matter that is referred to us, the first thing we do is to do a risk profile. A task office has referred the matter to us that we should take legal action. So we will now look at the possibility. What is the easiest way for us to go about this? What is the likelihood of success if we take legal action against the taxpayers? That is the first thing that we do. So when we do that risk profile, it will now we'll come to a conclusion that this is the next line of action we're supposed to take against that taxpayers. That's number one. So after that, we'll now write a letter to the taxpayer. When the taxpayer responds, sometimes when they see our letter, they will come up and then they will come and pay the outstanding tax liabilities. Some of them, if they fail to respond, then we'll file the necessary process in the court or tribunal. And when we file these processes, we have to serve the taxpayers. So we cannot prepare a process and keep it in our cupboard. So it must be served. So when it is served, they are put on notice. From time to time, as we are coming back from court, we will equally give report to the tax office or departments that refer the matter to us. And eventually, when we have judgments, we equally write to them that this judgment has been obtained in this matter, and this is the outcome. If it's in favor of the service, we write them. So please require the taxpayer to do whether to pay or to comply with that. Sometimes it's not even issue of payments, it's issue of compliance. Then, if it's a judgment we need to enforce, we'll get a necessary court order. So those are the steps we take. We don't do unwanted practice. We are professionals. We don't do that. So whatever we do it in accordance with the provisions of the law. We also open to engage the taxpayers. Even though we are in court, we are open to settlements out of court, alternative dispute resolution. If a matter is in court, the taxpayer can still approach us, or even we too can call the taxpayer that this matter that is in court, or this matter that you want to take us to court, come let us sit down and find a way to settle these disputes. We have done them many times, and this is an open way that we ensure that we don't ambush the taxpayers, and we have come to a closure of many cases, and the taxpayer is happy, and the service is happy, and the taxes are paid. We have many cases, even this year, that we have handled that has impacted tax administration. Notably, there is this case between MTN and FRS. In this case, it was determined that when a taxpayer fails to pay a tax, interest and penalties start accruing, and that is the provision of the law. More often than not, taxpayers will say, no, this interest and penalty should not start accruing, but the court has agreed with us and they have pronounced on that. Also, we have a case on the issue of gas flaring, where people that are operating in the downstream, when they flare gas, they will go to DPR, then I think it has another name now, so they will pay a certain amount of money to flare the gas. But when they are operating in that area, the gas will come up. When they are looking for oil, the gas will come. More often than not, they flare it. But the government has a policy that they should utilize it. So, but it's convenient for them to flare the gas. So more often than not, they flare the gas. When they now flare the gas, it is in the law that they're supposed to get a permission before they flare this gas. They will get a permission and then they will pay a certain amount of money. And we are of the opinion that this is a penalty, and so it's not an allowable expenses. But the taxpayers disagree with us, and we have gone to court. We have won at the THC, at the Federal High Court, and now at the Court of Appeal of recent this year. We also have got judgment of at Supreme Court on Alibotin and TSKJ, which has refined our position that taxpayers, even though they are not operating within Nigeria, when they have come to do business, they have to pay tax to the Nigerian nation. We are ministers in the temple of justice, first and foremost, and we advise our clients, which is FRS, to always adhere to the rule of law. We don't encourage FRS to do anything that is outside the provisions of the law. As a lawyer, that's our primary responsibility. We are not to persecute. We can prosecute. So a taxpayer who has done something that is not in accordance with the provision of the law can be taken up, but not somebody who has not done anything that he has complied, paid all his taxes and everything, so that we don't cause embarrassment to the taxpayer, because we want the taxpayer to still be in a position to pay more taxes.
Over now to SWAT for what's on the net.
Hello and welcome to What's on the Net. My name is Joyce Wateku. Ashiwaju at Mr_Ashiwaju is asking, once my business hits 25 million threshold, what are the steps I need to take as a small business owner that wants to start paying tax? Thank you for that question. In Nigeria, businesses reaching the 25 million naira threshold must register with the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, for tax compliance. Required documents include a business registration certificate and a valid identification. Owners must familiarize themselves with tax laws like the Companies Income Tax Act, CITA, and register for applicable taxes, including company income tax, value-added tax, VAT, and pay-as-you-earn, payee, if they have employees. Tax returns must be filed and payments made before deadlines. Keeping accurate financial records is essential, along with compliance with labor and industry regulations. Business owners are advised to seek professional guidance to navigate tax obligations and leverage incentives. Faith Olamide at Duke_of_Mosho is asking, if a company shuts down for a while and they fail to communicate FIRS Nigeria, will they be penalized for that? Well, if a company happens to cease business operations for any reason whatsoever, it is required by law they inform the tax office in writing so that the tax office can review the position of their applications and effect it on Tax Promax. In the event the company did not formally notify the tax office, definitely late return penalty will accrue on company income tax and value-added tax that were not filed on the Tax Promax, and the company has to pay for the liability. Thank you. I hope that addresses your questions. Let's keep the questions coming. Handing you back to Laurie.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Tax File. I hope you've gained new insights and a better understanding of today's tax matters. This conversation doesn't end here. Join us on social media to share your thoughts and questions. We are always here to keep you informed and engaged. Until next time, I am Laurie Bala Hassan. Stay compliant and keep watching Tax File. FIRS, simplifying tax, maximizing revenue.